And we're live.
Pretty star.
Ooh, I think somebody may be working on Star Explorer. This is a
really?
star from that one. Mhm.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, they catch a
cool.
red star and a blue star and learn why they're different colors.
Okay. Oh, I just heard the dulcet tones of Helen then. Oh, that was nice.
Ooh.
So I went outside earlier, John, and the moon is already looking pretty darn super tonight, let alone tomorrow night.
Yeah, wow, it looks pretty really bright in the all sky cam too.
Exactly, exactly. Not a night for deep sky imaging.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm going to sleep so well tonight. I've got so many missions scheduled, John. Look at my dashboard.
Oh, wow.
Loads of full moons.
Oh, I saw a triangulum, I think, in the bottom.
Oh, yeah, there was a triangular in there thrown in for good measure and a couple of dumbbells as well, I think. So, yeah.
Awesome. That reminds me, I have to go start joining some of those missions.
Wow. Yeah. So I think that image is beautiful. That Cat's Paw Nebula that Bogdan shared. It's a really difficult object to process, that one. So 30 missions he used for Chile 2.
Wow.
Wait. Wait, don't worry, John. I am coming back.
Okay.
We all set, Gretchen?
Yes, indeed, I am. And someone had just asked where to put their questions, and I was just saying, put them in the Q&A, and they will be answered at the end of the webinar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're watching the clocks, Be on time tonight.
1 minute.
My clock's running fast. Bewitching hour here in the UK. There we go. Welcome to the next generation of Slooh. Whether you're new to Slooh, long-time member, an educator, student, enthusiast, we've listened to your feedback over the last 18 months and have delivered some terrific improvements to the platform. The update is designed to make space exploration with Slooh's robotic telescopes easier to learn and even more engaging for everyone. We think so anyway. And actually, some of the feedback that we've had, a lot of the feedback we've had so far is saying the same thing. I'm Paul Cox, and over the next 45 minutes, we are going to be taking a closer look at the new streamlined dashboard, our new Quest learning activities that feature increased interactivity and personalization, including, you're going to love this, the all new custom poster creation tool. Slooh's Director of Curriculum, Dr. John Beauvais, you can see him here, will be joining me later to show us these gamified, standards-aligned learning activities that are going to engage students in STEM throughout the entire year. And of course, our Space Enthusiast members too. We'll also have an update on, and you need to remind me of this at the end, we'll have an update on the new Slooh Observatory launching in Australia and the new mega telescope being added to the Canary Islands Observatory. Now, you'll have to excuse me because tonight I'm working off some notes here and I'm controlling a screen up there. So if you see my eyes flitting around, I'm not going mad, I promise you. But let's start with the new streamlined dashboard. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is the new simplified layout and content, something you've been asking for ages, and we've delivered. Now, what we've got here on the dashboard is, now, bear in mind, by the way, I will preface all of this by saying I have got a lot of missions scheduled for tomorrow night's blue supermoon star party, and they appear on my dashboard down here. So my dashboard looks a lot longer than yours will. All right, but let's take a skip through. And first of all, we've got our upcoming celestial events. So here we are tonight, introducing Next Gen Slooh. Tomorrow night, do make sure you join us for the blue supermoon. That is going to be an epic star party. We've got 2 students as expert guests, as well as some other expert guests as well, joining us tomorrow night. So that's going to be fun. We've got let me just scroll down here. We've got the new telescopes panel. Now, we've had an awful lot of great feedback for this one. You've asked for it for ages, and you wanted us to make it more obvious when the observatories are online or are going to be online. And you see this on the new telescopes panel. When the observatory is open, as you can see here with the Canary Islands, it's actually telling us what the live conditions are like, but it's also showing us with single button links the telescopes that are currently online. So currently we've got Canary 1, Canary 2, Canary 3, Canary 4. We're not going to hop over to the telescopes tonight because that's not what this is about. And the telescope pages in the reservation system, if they ain't broke, we ain't going to fix them. And they're still working really well. Nobody has any problems with those at all. But we can see here the Chile Observatory, that's going to be open later. And we've got a countdown. In fact, it's going to be open in 16 minutes and 13 seconds, 12 seconds, 11. I hope we could do that all night, couldn't we? So that's a really easy way of spotting when the telescopes align. And even during the day, if the solar telescope is online, you'll see that in here as well on the dashboard. Now, when the observatory is closed, it shows you the countdown. And if it should be open, if it's during normal operating hours, it'll come up with a message to say why it's closed, if it is closed. So maybe there's a weather message there or something like that. We then got the missions panel. Now, this is one that you'll find is a lot bigger on mine than it will be for you. So what we've got here, in the missions panel, the first thing that you're seeing are the upcoming missions. And as I said, I've got a load of these for tomorrow night star party. You asked us for more information though, for your missions. So in addition to the basic info, like the countdown, date and time, you'll also find the forecast weather and sky conditions as well, which is really cool. It really helps you out with your planning. You've also got the object altitude and lunar altitude provided on that mission card as well. You can select the object and the telescope guides up here by clicking this 3 little buttons up here. So if you want to take a closer look at the telescope that you're using or learn more about the object, you can click those. And now we are going to scroll past all of my upcoming missions. Ignore those. You won't have all of those. And then we get down to our featured missions. These are the same as ever, but it's showing you a countdown for when each one is. A simple join button here shows you how many people have joined the mission. So tomorrow night's mission on Chile 1, we've got 26 people have joined that one already. You'll still find the three little buttons on most things here, which give you that contextual help again, once again, to view the object guide and view the telescope guide in this particular instance. Now, my past missions, this has proved incredibly popular with members since the NextGen website was launched. We'll take a more detailed look at that a little bit later. So I'm going to go into detail for my past missions and my photos, but for the moment, we're just going to skip past this. But you can see already my past missions, one of the best things here is it's telling us whether or not the mission was accomplished successfully, or if it failed, and if it did fail, the reason why it failed. So far, thankfully, we've only had weather failures, no tech failures. So anyway, next down on the dashboard, we've got quests. Now, let me adjust my screens here to help me out a bit. These are the core of member and student activity on Slooh's platform. You know that. And we're going to be taking a far closer look at the new quests and features later with Dr. John Beauvais, who has frankly lived and breathed these updates for, well, certainly all of this year, but the development work for these has gone on a lot longer than that. So I'm not going to delve into quests. We've got a nifty little panel here, though. I love this panel. You've completed 23 quests. You can view all of your completed quests, view all of your badges and stuff like that there. But John's going to take us through that later. Then, obviously, one of the foundations of Slooh is you capturing your own personal images with the telescopes. So photos, the photo section has had a major overhaul based on those user feedback sessions. And we thank everybody who joined in on those, both educators and our space enthusiast members. We ran a whole series of user feedback sessions, and our designer and development team took all of that on board. And yeah, we've received some terrific feedback actually on the new features in my photos. So we are going to take a deeper delve into that a little bit later on. You can see how hopeless I am at collecting the Slooh 1000 objects. I have only collected 566. I've probably done more missions and probably captured more images than the vast majority of Slooh members, but you can see I've got very narrow interests. I don't think I've ever set up a mission to a star, although Dr. John Beauvais has just told me that he's got a new quest that involves some stars. So I suspect that number is going to be going up. Now then, if we hop down further, we'll see. So here we are. We're already at the end of the simplified dashboard. And if you remember, if I used to do one of these webinars, I used to say to people, oh, we're going to ignore all of this stuff on the right-hand side. You can look at that at your own leisure. All of that's all the clutter's been cleared away. But observations, they're the mainstay, aren't they, of interacting and contributing to the community. You can still filter between featured and all observations. By the way, featured observations, if you ever wondered, are those with 10 likes or more. And we can see this. John and I were looking at this just before the webinar started. This glorious image that's been processed by Bolton. It's got 33 likes of the Cat's Paw Nebula. Really, really difficult object to process. But he's done an absolutely spectacular job on that. Now then, where am I? You can also view your own observations by clicking this little thing up here, and my observations here as well. So it's clicking my observations to view yours, and then you can click view all observations there. Actually, shall we take a quick look? Let's take a very quick look, because one thing that I would like to just show you here is a really, really nifty little feature. And you'll see this in several areas that we're going to show you tonight. We've got a search feature. So in here, you can search for Comet, just type it in, you don't have to press enter, and it's searching through all of the community shared observations to try and find, well, it is finding all of those which contained the word Comet in its title. So this is a really cool way of being able to hone in on observations that might interest you. Normal pagination, one of the big things you're going to find with NextGen Slooh is, I'll show you this a little bit later, you can right click on a lot of elements and open them in a new tab or window, which means if you've been paging through hundreds and hundreds of pages like this, you won't lose your place. You'll also find, though, a lot of these pages now, if you use the back button, it will actually take you back to the previous page that you were on. So we are going to hop over now to the first bit that we're going to delve into a little bit deeper, and that is my past missions. So we hop down here. Don't forget, we're going to scroll past my hundreds of full moon to supermoon. Oh, tomorrow. I was looking at it earlier this evening, and even the day before full supermoon, it's already looking absolutely spectacular, and it did look bigger to me. But anyway, sorry, we are going to look at this little button here. So here are my past missions, and it's showing me the last 3. Now we could view the mission log on any one of these, and we can scroll through here and go and have a look at all of them. But if we click the view all my past missions button, we land up on a brand new page. Now I've got to find a place again. And one of the first things that you'll notice is that members, you lot, have asked for a clearer indication of whether or not your mission ran. So what you can see here is, have I got any that didn't run? Oh yeah, so we've got a couple here, down here, that didn't run. So mission failed, brackets, weather. If telescope's offline for technical reasons, it'll say technical in there instead. But you can also see that all of these top ones, all my missions from last night, mission accomplished. Thank you very much. Now, some top tips on using the new features. You can search through your missions. I am going to read from my notes on this one so that I don't miss anything. So the feature searches through the mission titles. That's an important tip to remember. So anything, if you've done a coordinate mission, anything like that, and named it, then it will search for that name, which makes it a heck of a lot easier to be able to start filtering through all of your missions. But what we're going to do here is let's search for nebula. And I think it's worthwhile just me showing you a couple of examples on this. Now, remember how many I've been going with Slooh for nearly 20 years. That was pretty quick to search through all of my missions. And there we go. But what we can also do here, so we've got hundreds and hundreds of missions there. Let's try refining that search to Helix Nebula. So don't forget, that's searching the title. And here we've got all of my missions that I've ever done. I don't know how many pages long it goes, but all of my missions of the Helix Nebula. And if I'm hunting down cool images and stuff like that, it's going to be a bit of a pain just kind of seeing this mix of successful missions and failed ones. Well, this is one of my favorite features. I know it's simple, but it's still really, really useful. We can filter on all missions, which is the view that we're on now. We can look at only the successful missions, missions that contain FITS data, or our failed missions. Not much point in just looking for failed missions, although I guess, you know, if you were hunting for something and couldn't find it, then that would be a good place. But look what happens if I just filter on successful missions. So suddenly I've got mission cards for every single successful mission that I've carried out with the Helix Nebula. Now, so we've done that. You can also do FITS data as well in there. I won't show you that for now. That's, by the way, FITS data is dependent on your account type. All right. So anyway, so I've shown you that. Now, one of the pains of the old Slooh is that when you were crawling through lots and lots of pages, normally searching for data, so already we've done a huge filtering exercise on this, but you'd go through all of these pages and you'd get here and you'd maybe look at this mission, you'd click on it, have a look at it, and then you go back and it would take you all the way back to page 1. Well, as I said at the beginning, you can now open a lot of things on Slooh in a new tab. So let's do that. I don't know. Let's go this one here. So there's View Mission Log button. I'm going to right click on that and say Open Link in New Tab. And here it is opening. So this is opening the new mission page. Now, this is the detailed mission page that includes all of the information about your mission and all of the images and FITS data included in that mission. We've got the mission details panel, which includes all of that. And each image contains some items at the bottom right that you can just see on here. Let's scroll down the page a little bit. The bottom right, all of the images contain this little, these three little icons. So we've got a download button, we've got a FITS button, and then we've got our familiar 3-dot menu. The 3-dot menu for every single image in your mission includes write an observation. So that's where you can either write a personal observation or share it with the community, view FITS data if your account allows it, add it to a gallery. Galleries have had a major overhaul, tag your photos, or even delete that photo. So you can do all of that. Let me see. I think such a single click. Yes, that's something to remember. Now, if we click on view FITS files, just for the members who do have access to this, we're still downloading individual FITS files. We haven't forgotten about the single click download of all FITS data within a single mission. That will come. We haven't got a date for it, but we haven't forgotten about it. Right. So there we are. That is it. I'm not going to show you any more actually in my past missions. There's some really, really good stuff in there. But where we're going to go now is we're going to go, well, actually, I was going to say we're going to take a look at my photos, and we could go back to the dashboard to do that, but you'll also find that there's some new links under your profile menu here. So here we can go directly to my photos just by clicking that. So here we are. Now then, once again, just like my past missions, you can search your images that are now grouped into object cards. This is one of the biggest changes in my photos. So all of your photos are sorted by mission cards, and the order that they're in, it says most recent. So normally the sun is here for me in my most recent missions, because I've normally snapped some images from the solar telescope during the day, so that's normally headed up there. But I've had some comet missions recently, quite a few comets. Dumbbell Nebula, that's been really popular lately. Actually, I've got some really cool images recently. Anyway, I've forgotten which one I was going to show you now. We are going to show you that we can search just like we did before. So we can do nebula again, and this is going to show me, once again, it's filtering on any object that has nebula in the word. We can refine that once again. So let's do Dumbbell Nebula just because it's there and looking pretty cool. Look at that. I've only got 12 photos of the little Dumbbell Nebula. I have obviously neglected it. But anyway, look, I haven't neglected the Dumbbell Nebula. And once again, we can right click and open that image in a new tab. So we can carry on going through there. We can click this, and then we can see the all of my photos ever of the Dumbbell Nebula. And these are sorted in chronological order. You can scroll through here, you can go through the pagination, and you can do all of the opening in a new tab and stuff like that. Any image that you want to see closer up, you can just click it. You can use the download button, or you can use this. Very familiar, what we saw before when we're looking at any individual photo. Write an observation, add to gallery, tag photos, delete photos. So now, before we take a look at what I think is one of the most exciting parts of the new Slooh, the next gen Slooh quests, I just want to point out a couple of little things in the top nav bar. So what have we got? Yep, we have got in our main button row, obviously you can go back to the dashboard at any point. Telescopes, you may notice now, has a little indicator of when any of the telescopes are online, which is cool. And you can go there and it opens up this very familiar menu for us. Quests, of course, John's going to show us that. Community shows us, depending on what type of account you have, students, educators, space enthusiasts will have different content in here. Hall of Fame's pretty good. Most people have got this somewhere in their profile. It's not always in community, but this shows you the familiar leaderboards, all time, 10 days, stuff like that. Look, I am doing so badly. I am 295th in collecting the Slooh 1000. And considering I added most of those objects to the Slooh database, I feel ashamed. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's gravity points all time. You can do last 10 days as well. How am I doing last 10 days? Is it coming up? Is it coming up? There you go. What? No, I cannot be that low, surely. Anyway, I feel even more ashamed now. But anyway, look, it's got all of the members up here of how many people at each Slooh level. We've got our star parties here. We've got observations there as well. Star parties, actually, I didn't write this down to show you, but these have now been recategorized. So we've got community-led star parties, so you can just see all of those. Don't forget, all star parties you can watch recorded as well. So it doesn't matter, if it's too late for you to watch it live, but do try and get to the blue supermoon star party tomorrow night live, because that's going to be a good one. Educator workshops, celestial events, and student classes. We've got some great information about the Slooh astronomy camp, a recap of that, and 2 of the students who attended are going to be expert guests tomorrow night. Very top bar here, information bar, we've got our familiar UTC clock. If you are new to Slooh, I would recommend just learn your offset to UTC, but don't forget the dashboard has got the countdown, and there's countdowns in a lot of places now on the Slooh website. So here we can see, oh, look at that, it is offline. So that before, when we started the star party, did have a countdown of when the Chile observatory should open. We got our familiar search tool where you can search for anything on Slooh, or you can browse through all of our guides. I use that a lot to hone in on if I want to schedule a mission to, let's say, the Dumbbell Nebula. I'll do a search on that. I'll go to the missions tab. Those object pages, those guide pages haven't changed. So they're still looking very familiar. We've got our events icon here that shows you all of the upcoming events. Oh, look, we could watch this live. Who's that blue? I don't know. And then we've got our alert notifications. This has had some updates as well. There are links in some of these as well, but that's fairly familiar. And you can, if you don't like the clutter of all of those, you can do a dismiss all. I don't normally do that because I like to see them all and have a recap. And then you've got your profile, which I showed you earlier. So that's it for me, but I think we should move on to Quest learning activities. And to step us through what's new, I'd like to welcome Slooh's Director of Curriculum, Dr. John Bovair. Hello, John. What do you think of Next Gen Slooh?
I'm amazed with Next Gen Slooh. The first time I saw this dashboard, the new dashboard, I just immediate smiles, and every time I look around the corner and find something new, and even new things that I saw just watching you walk us through this, just like it's amazing, and I cannot wait for everybody to really start enjoying it.
Yeah, we saw it first, didn't we, on the same day, and I think our opinion was the same. And then I cut the little orientation videos that we have, those little starter videos, and it was when I actually scripted those out, I thought, hey, listen, I've just described everything that's on the dashboard in a minute and a half. It's taken me slightly longer now, but just think what we've gone through in 20 minutes. We've gone through all of the contents of the dashboard in my normal wordy way. We've looked in detail at my past missions, which I think is an absolute standout, new feature. I love the way that's organized. I love the countdowns and how simple it is to get to each of the telescopes just with one click. We weren't going off to look at the telescopes, but that's as simple as it is. So that's Messier 57. Oh, you mentioned, right, so just before we started, John, we looked at the live telescope views, and there was a mission running on the bright star Deneb, and you said, oh, I know what that is. Tell us what it was, and then over to you to explain Next Gen Quest to us.
All right, thank you so much, Paul. Yes, we watched a mission of Deneb going off, which is a blue star that's in the constellation Cygnus, and we recently released a bunch of new quests.
Yeah,
and in particular, the one quest that one is from is called Star Explorer, and That quest is one of our new quests. I think I just shared my screen now.
Yeah, I can see it, John.
And so before I jump too much further, I just want to remind everybody, if you're new, what is a quest? Paul mentioned that those are our main activities that we have for you to do at Slooh, our core activities to use the telescopes with. And so quests, I would say they are coherent, well-sequenced, experiential learning activities that use Slooh's telescopes to capture images of celestial wonders like Deneb, while learning about specific aspects of astronomy, history, anthropology, arts, and other STEAM topics, which keep members and students engaged and excited to learn. So let's see some of the ways that quests have changed from the last time you've seen them. So as Paul mentioned, there's on the dashboard, there is a My Quests section, and this is the spot where quests that you have started will appear. And if you're a student in this webinar right now, when your teachers assign you quests, those quests will also appear in this part of the dashboard. Now, there is a quest button on the top here, and let's go ahead and click on this together. And just like and so you can see here's all of the quests here. And we have the new way of going through the quests, and you could save your spot, go on page 3. You could do the right click if you'd like. But what's really powerful is the way that you can search through quests now. And Paul showed this in the missions section. He showed us this in the photo section. It's also in the quest section. So just like before. Well, let's see. Let's search for Explorer. Well, when you search for quests here, they'll generally pop up. And so when we go to the all categories, we can actually see some of the different ways that quests are separated. So like before, we still have our learning progressions that separate quests into elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. So if I click on elementary school, this is where actually more of the new content, the new quests are coming from. A lot of the new quest features that I'm going to show, we're filtering into the older quests, like the new custom poster feature, but we are launching a brand new series of elementary school quests. And so this is them. They're in order. Even though they're called elementary school quests, that doesn't mean that you won't have fun going on them. I really encourage everybody to go through some of these quests because there's a lot of really fun activities in here. So here, this is a Star Explorer. So this is the quest that I'm like 95% sure that member was going on Deneb for. And so this quest is coming off of the heels of a quest called Universe of Color. So in Universe of Color, you learn about how the light comes in different wavelengths and different colors. And then in Star Explorer, you learn the connection between heat and color. And so I'll show a couple of activities from those in a moment. So I just want to check one more time and just see, maybe I spelled it wrong. I must have had a typo and I just didn't see it because I'm so excited to show everybody these things tonight. So look, I just searched for Explorer and I'm still in elementary school and it just pulled out those 4 quests. So just like before, when Paul was showing everybody with the photos and missions, you can use the filtering to also add an additional layer of searching, which is pretty cool. This way you can always find whatever quest you're looking for. Especially because we have over 70 quests. And so, there may be one that you may have, on your mind. Now, we all know that quests culminate in creating poster-sized infographics. And if you don't know that that's what happens, well, that's one of the cool things that you get to build when you're here on Slooh. So every Slooh quest that you go on, you're going to be making a custom poster with the images that you captured in the telescopes. So this is a lunar phases poster, and all of these images are from the telescopes. They're all from Canary 1. It's my favorite one to look at the moon at, which is why you should come to the Blue Supermoon event tomorrow, because we don't always look at the moon with Canary 1. So tomorrow's going to be a really good treat for that. But I'll show you later on how this is a customized poster where all of the text that's on here, you can now click on, you can change the font, you can change the color, the size, etc. So just like before, infographic posters incorporate your responses to questions within the quest. And now, because you get to change a myriad of things, not just add pictures and add text to here, these personalized infographics truly become yours. No two posters are going to be alike because there's too many knobs now for everybody to turn. And these are a true spirit of accomplishment for you and any students that may be going on these, because they give you a easy tool to recall content that you learn when you're on the quest. And so this new flexibility that we have in the quest system for custom posters really allows students to explore their artistic expression and create something that really speaks to them and for them. So in particular, here's the final poster from the Star Explorer quest. And while I didn't use Deneb when I made mine, I actually used Rigel. This is a fun quest where you get to see that stars come in different colors. And I think that's a really fun aspect, especially when you're first starting out to in your journey in astronomy. So I just want to show us now some new features, how those features are filtered through in some of the quests, and hopefully get you excited to go on some of these quests, especially if it's a quest that you've already gone on before. You can make a new poster now. So with that, I will now start with one of our, it's probably a littler feature, a smaller feature, but it's still incredibly impactful. We now have calculators for Slooh quests. That's right, you can now do all of your calculations within the quest itself. Now, what's really cool about this is the way that we designed it, the way that the development team designed this. They made it so that you can actually copy and paste information into the calculator and out of the calculator. So one of the things that we need to do in this particular quest is we need to figure out how many Earths are between Earth and the sun. And so we can actually do that quite easy now. Here's the equation here. Just need distance to the object divided by the diameter of the Earth. So here's the distance to the sun. We can go ahead and copy that, go down to our calculator, and we can actually paste it into here. And then we can go back up. We can get the Earth's diameter, and we can hit divide. Oops. Well, I'm always learning new things about the quest system. So one of the things I wanted to do all at once is show everybody that actually we have to get rid of these commas before we use the calculator. And it actually states that on the calculator too, as a reminder. So when we click enter, we get our result. So now watch this. I can grab this result, copy this result, go up to the portion of the quest where it's asking me how far away the sun is from the Earth relative to the Earth's diameter. I need to make sure I follow the formatting. So I have the X, and now I just need Earth diameters. And then I can check, submit my answer, and boom, it's correct. So now this should make doing some of the arithmetic throughout some of these quests more straightforward, a little easier to do. You don't have to bust out a piece of paper and do it by hand or find some other calculator. I think that's really fun. Now, another tool that you're going to see another way of being asked questions that you're going to start seeing filtered throughout quests are what we're calling our paragraph fill in the blanks. So we do have a regular fill in the blanks, which kind of ask one question for a blank at a time. Here, you can think of this as almost like a Slooh ad lib, if you remember those from back in the day. So we have these blanks, and we have to fill these blanks with an answer that is going to be correct. For the elementary school quests, we typically give some possible selections. So when objects become hot, they release light. Things start as red. When they get around about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, they start to glow red. And as they get hotter and hotter and hotter, you get things that glow blue. And this is the reason why stars come in colors of red all the way to blue. So we can submit our answers here, and boom, we have a checkbox or check marks. So one thing that we're starting to incorporate into quests, starting with these new revamped elementary school quests, are summaries at the end of the quest itself. And so this is a summary of learning. Before, the summary of learning was a block of text. Well, now the summary of learnings are going to be blocks of text with certain words missing, that if you've gone through the quest, if you've understood the information, you should be able to fill out the summary of learning and determine if there's a step that you may potentially need to go back to cover some other information. But once you have this finished with all of the answers in there, you can actually copy the entire summary and paste it somewhere else. And now this becomes a study guide that you can use for various quizzes that if you're a student, a quiz that your teacher can give. All of our elementary school quests also contain if you're an educator, there is a quiz that is associated with every quest that you can give your students afterwards to assess whether or not they understood the material. The quizzes that we've written come based off of the summaries. So the summaries are based off of the quest, and the quizzes are based off of the summaries. So this is a really fun tool. This one has actually exceeded my expectations. So now, the moment that you've all been waiting for, the custom posters. So let's go ahead and take a look at how you may find custom posters in a quest. So this is an example of a poster that I'm almost done with, but I wanted to show you how it looks in the quest itself. So this is from Exploring Star Clusters. And here we can see a preview of the poster. And you can see I'm missing one image here. And it's not because I didn't snap it from the telescopes or go on a mission to capture an image from the telescopes. It's because I didn't put the image into the poster yet. So let me show you what I mean. So there's going to be an edit poster button if you've already started a poster. If you haven't started a poster, it's going to say create poster. Yeah. So let's go ahead and hit this edit poster. And now here we're inside the custom poster tool. And so a couple of things before I jump into the images. I mentioned that the text is now selectable. We can select this text. We can change the font of this text if we would like. If there's anything that you do when you're making these posters that you would like to undo, there's an undo button that's up here. And so there's many ways that you can customize these posters. And so there's many tools that are on the left side of the new custom poster feature. So you're always going to start with defaulted on move, and the move tool basically just lets you move things around that you would like. And again, when you move things around, don't worry about doing something that you may not like, because if you do something that you don't like, there's always this undo button that will put things back. So so that's nice. The next thing here is background. Background is kind of as it suggests. This allows you to change the background of your poster to a different color. So if it's going to be a poster that you want to say print out, then maybe you wouldn't want to use a dark background. Maybe you'd want to design your poster with a lighter background. That's something that you get to do. It's up to you now how you want your poster to look. Then there's image. So under image, there's a couple of selections. And so there's upload a new image, which would just be putting an image on from your computer. You typically aren't going to be using this one very often. But under quest images are the spots where you're going to find all of your telescope images, or the telescope images that are connected to whatever activity you're working on. Now, these images don't tell you exactly what name they are. That's something that you'll either be prompted to remember in the quest or prompted to write into a text box to be used later. However, we still give information about your mission, what telescope the image came from, your mission date and time, and you can actually copy all of that to clipboard. So that could be important because maybe you want to put it in one of your text boxes. So just remember that we copied this information, so it's sitting on my clipboard right now, and we'll bring that back up when we talk about text in a moment. So there is one image that I'm missing from my poster, and it says here to put image named Open Cluster 1 here. For a lot of the quests that are towards the beginning of the curricular learning progressions, there's going to be some guidance within the poster to kind of help you, get a feeling for how these posters put together. Quests that are towards the end of the learning progression won't have these images. It'll be kind of implied that these 3 on this side are your open clusters and these 3 on the other side are your globular clusters. Anyways, I digress. When you click on one of these quest images, it's going to take that image and your capture and plop it right in the center of the poster. Now, this is pretty cool because now we can actually do some things with it. We can move it around. We can put it over onto here. Now, if we follow the instructions, it says resize it until the numbers in the upper right read width and height. And this width and height is basically just the width and height of the box that we're going to put the image in. So anytime you click on anything on your poster, in the upper right, you're going to have a X and Y position of where that object is, but you're also going to have a width and a height. So when I click on the Pleiades image here, I need to resize it so that it's 1964 by 1964. And you can grab the corners. It is a little unwieldy when you do it that way, but you can click on the sides of these images, text boxes, etc. And that way it only allows you to adjust one dimension at a time. And I found that it's a little easier that way to do that, to do it that way. So, okay, 1964. Boom. Awesome. So let's go ahead and place the image onto the box. So this would be kind of where it would be. Now, you can already see that there's a couple of issues. If we want to keep our image like this, then we have this text that's in the back here. We would need to get rid of it if we wanted to keep the image like this because of the letterboxing on the top and the bottom. Whenever you click on anything, you may have noticed that there is a bar that appears on top. This allows you to manipulate whatever it is you're clicking on. So there's a remove, which of course removes. There's a duplicate, which when you click that, it actually duplicates whatever it is you're clicking on. This will become very important when working on different quest activities. So let's hit remove. These two are bring to front and bring to back. Because right now you can kind of see that the Pleiades is all the way on the front, but if we wanted to move it to the back, we can do that. So you just have to be a little careful when you're using that bring to front, bring to back. Now, the last thing that's on here is this little pencil. So let me first put the Pleiades image back onto, a little bit where it should go. Okay, now let's click on the pencil. This is probably my absolute favorite thing of every feature that has come out. This is my favorite. We can now edit our telescope images right in the quest. So we can crop our images. And so what I suggest is getting used to this 1 by 1, this little square here. When you click on this on crop, it's going to take your image and force it to be a square. And then we could still crop the image further, move it around. We could center it exactly how we want it, which was how I got my lunar images to be so perfectly centered in the lunar phases poster that I showed us a little bit earlier. Now, here's the cool magic. Under adjust, we have the ability to affect the light levels of our images a little bit. We have contrast and we have gamma. So I'm going to hit on gamma. When I adjust this a little bit, you can see that the image is being edited a little bit, and we're able to pull out more details than we normally would be able to see. So here, normally when I look at the Pleiades, I can see this nebulosity below, but there's a lot of wispiness above the top here that I normally don't see in an image that comes just straight from the telescope. So I really like this. This is cool. So I'm going to hit done, and now it has taken my square image and it put it in that 1964 by 1964 area. That's neat. So when you can use this tool to even just center objects. So clicking on 1 to 1, we can center the globular cluster here. You can hit on this little button. It kind of brings it up and you can see if you like that. Like, okay, that's really nice. And again, if you want to go full force and do these gammas, watch how many additional stars start popping out from this globular cluster. It is so cool. And then, then once you're done, you just hit done and then boom, it's changed on your poster. And so when you're finished with your poster, you hit this done button on the top, or if you want to take a break, come back and finish the poster at a later time, you can go ahead and hit done too. So after a few seconds, we'll see a preview of the poster right in the quest, and you can download the poster. If you're finished with the poster, you can hit the finish button, which will allow you to get the big, nice checkbox on the top here. Now, there's some other cool things with these posters that I want to show you, and one of them is there's certain questions in the quest that allow you to actually add them as text boxes into the poster. So this is from the Milky Way's doppelganger, and in this particular question, it's asking what's the name of this galaxy. It's the Whirlpool Nebula. So I want us to see that we typed this in together, and then I'm going to go to the step where the Milky Way's doppelganger poster is. So let's go ahead and edit this poster and see how the text comes alive in these quests. Now, what's interesting is because the images don't just appear in the boxes, you now have to choose where the images go. It is pretty important that you make sure that you place the right images in the right slots. So right here, for example, it's actually not correct because this barred spiral galaxy needs to be in this center one. So when I was working on this before, well, I think I was maybe working a little too fast. So, but it's really easy just to grab the image and move it right over to the other side. So the one we're missing, the spiral galaxy, that's the second capture in this particular quest. We can go ahead and put it in here. You don't necessarily have to follow this width and height. I mean, it is your poster after all. But I try and make these zones for the images wide enough to where you can just kind of stretch it out however you like. And we can do our same deal, hitting on the one-to-one, getting it square, getting the image in the center. If you want, you can do the gamma stuff. Could do the contrast, pull out a little more imagery, or a little more detail. Okay, but here it says galaxy name. In the quest, we put in Whirlpool Galaxy because this was the Whirlpool Galaxy. So when we click on text here, you'll notice that certain quest answers appear. So here's our Whirlpool Nebula that we just typed in together. When I click on this, boom, it places it in a text box right in the center of the poster. So I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to delete this galaxy name placeholder, and looks like it's a little too big. We can change the font size. That looks good. Maybe I should have it be the same color as the other ones, little consistency. Gosh, how did these get to be so centered, you may ask? Well, there's a text align up here where you can center justify the text in the text box. So now, boom, this is pretty good. This is done. If you're done, but if you want to change the, again, if you want to change the color, the text, you can actually change the text on the font, on the poster itself, if you really wanted to. Maybe somebody doesn't like it when Milky Way is called the Milky Way. Maybe they just want it to be Milky Way's barred spiral. You can do that. It's up to you. Even the boxes themselves are selectable. You can change the colors of them. Really, really fun. And we also have this this grid that's on the top, and this grid, when you click on it, kind of puts a little grid in the back so you can fine tune if you would like. Now, in this text, I did mention that well, let's go ahead and actually do this again together. So let's go to the Whirlpool Galaxy. I want to take a look at where I got this image from. This is from Canary 1 from May 2020. So I'm going to copy all of this information to the clipboard. You can add any text box to a spot if you want, if there's some room. You can even move you can delete everything off of this poster and make a completely new poster, really, if you want to. So in this text box, I can go ahead and paste, and it looks like I have all of that information from that capture if I needed it for my poster for whatever reason. So I think that's really awesome. A couple other things too is under shape, we have some the ability to actually draw on our poster as well. So draw is like how it sounds. If you want to, maybe this is like a big clown face, and the elliptical galaxy is the clown's nose. You can draw in a little face if you would like. Or later on, when I show you an example from the one of the new In the Footsteps of Tombow quest, you can actually point an arrow to where Pluto is, for example. So there's a lot of things that you can do on these posters, a whole lot more things than before. Now, this is just the Quest infographic posters. This tool allows a lot more activities and engaging activities to be had within the quests. So, for example, this is in the Moon Explorer quest. And in this one, students are learning about the connection between object altitude and how much atmosphere the students are looking through. So what they're supposed to be doing here is taking these little air sticks and basically putting them along the line of sight towards these different stars. And they're trying to figure out, well, they're trying to basically just see that the lower the altitude is, the more atmosphere they're looking through, and that affects the image quality. So that's just one example of a activity. Here's another example. This is from the elementary school In the Footsteps of Tombow quest, and this is the one where we stack our images and make a time-lapse animation out of our Pluto images. Well, students can now use this tool to actually practice stacking up the images based on where the stars are, and then using the line tool to actually draw a line through where the planets are, and it kind of gets them set up for their activities. Now, when you're working on a custom poster or a custom poster activity, if you've gone really far into it and you feel like you want to start over, don't worry. In the bottom here, there's a restart button. When you click the restart button, it'll ask you if you're sure, but when you hit restart, it will actually return the activity or the module to its original template state, so you can begin again if that's what you so choose. Now, the final thing that I would like to show everybody is that is this stickers function in the bottom. And so this is from the upcoming In the Footsteps of Apollo quest. It's not out yet. It's gonna come out on Friday. It's gonna come out on Friday, I promise. And there's new activities in there that allow you to actually find where the Apollo astronauts landed within the quest itself. So in this sticker category, there's a bunch of different flags from all of the countries in the world, and there's some push pins. So when you add any of these to the poster, it just kind of, it's kind of like a fun little sticker. So maybe you want to kind of like pin your Apollo poster there. Okay, but under the image category, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. Under the image category, there was one button that we didn't touch on, and that's this recommended image. And under recommended images, you'll find images or graphics that you can add to your poster or your activity. For this particular activity, when you click on recommended, there's a lunar module image. So when you click on that, it actually puts the lunar module right on the activity. So we can resize it, make it a little small, but you'll be able to use the Apollo treasure maps in the quest to figure out exactly where the Apollo astronauts landed. You can place your lunar module right on the location site. You can use the text to get the capture date and capture time, percentage of full when the mission went off, because those are questions that are asked within the quest. And you can hit done. And now you have a memorialized activity that shows where the lunar phases, or excuse me, where Apollo 11 landed, which is pretty sweet. So I think that's pretty much all I have to show. I could go through more about some of the cool upcoming elementary school quests and some of the ones that are on there now, but I think that there's a lot of stuff that I just went over. And so I hope you have a lot of fun creating new posters in these quests.
John, that's
Thank you.
brilliant. That's the first time I've seen some of that, because we've been so busy after the launch. I mean, the Apollo quest is just absolutely tailor-made, you know, for the new custom poster, just being able to annotate your images. But I hadn't actually seen those image edit functions either. And you know, the gamma adjustment, the gain adjustment that you were showing there, people might wonder, you know, well, why don't we process the images like that anyway? Well, what we have to do is, in the automated processing of the images, we have to take account, or we have to assume, the worst possible imaging conditions. And if you have kind of a noisy image because of moonlight, or maybe a little bit of cloud or haze or something, as soon as you try and do that kind of editing, it gets very, very noisy very, very quickly. So one of the things I would urge members to do is make sure that you use those kind of tools on the best quality image that you've got, you know. So it goes back to a lot of what we explain in the quest, you know, capture the best possible images that you've got, and the best quality the original images, the more of that adjustment you can do, you know. And this really opens up the personalization of quests. I think, you know, teachers and, you know, educators and students are going to love it, and I think our normal members are as well. You showed the exploring star clusters. I noticed, I think today, that Carol had shared her poster from that quest today. You know, I kind of recognized it straight away. I'm not sure if she shared that as in an observation, or possibly in one of the workspaces. But anyway, John, thank you so much for that. I know you got more to come as well, more quests being released, but there's an awful lot of them back in the roster already, isn't there?
There is an awful lot, and again, I encourage everybody to go back. You know, even if you already did the quest, do it again. Get new images. Find your best images, and you know, that editing tool with the gamma and the contrast. And I think in some ways it's a little subjective, because it's, you know, how you like it. So even if two students take the same exact mission, they may process it a little bit differently. So it's super duper personalized. No two posters are alike anymore.
Yeah. It's where the art in astrophotography comes from. It is all about personal choice. But frankly, that's the same for the entire poster. You know, do what you want, include what you want, lay it out how you like. You know, the colors that I choose might be horrible to some other people, but if they're the ones I've chosen, that's because I like them. So, you know, personal choice and personalization. I love it. I love it. We need to definitely start some competitions, don't we, for best quest poster for any given quest, but maybe that's for the future. John, I answered a couple of questions which were more kind of personal desires rather than kind of general usage questions. So I've already answered those, but I did promise, if you could stop sharing, I just want to share my screen, because I want to point people just very quickly to, if you want more information about the new Australian Observatory, if you click the search icon there, it's right here, because it's in alphabetical order. So coming 2023, well, okay, there's still a lot of 2023 available, so when exactly is it going to be? But anyway, it is located, the new observatory is located at the Southern Robotic Observatory Facility, which is stone's throw from Siding Springs, New South Wales, Australia. You can see the Google map there. If Google have updated this, we'll see the concrete pad where our dome is going to be stored. We've got some sky conditions there. Here we've got the telescope guide of the telescope that's going to be installed down there. Now, if you checked out, where did I post this? I think I posted in Discord and in the Astronomers Anonymous workspace. You'll see that the telescope arrived, and you'll see a little video of the guys down there checking that the mirror made it intact. It's always a rather nerve-wracking experience. But here we go. What are we installing? We are installing another 0.5 meter telescope. That's 20 inches in old money. It's going to be similar to the Canary 1 telescope, but with the same kind of camera as the Canary 2 telescope. This brand new camera that we've got there. All of the specs down here. We've got some new types of filters that we're trying to use here, because the old type that we used are no longer available and having serious production qualities. They've been taken over. But anyway, so there it is. So when in 2023 is it going to launch? Well, I can't give you an exact date, but what I can tell you is the telescope's there. And then I think it was yesterday or the day before, maybe at the weekend, the second shipment arrived, which includes the pier. It includes the telescope mount, all sorts of ancillaries, counterweights, huge, massive counterweights that have been flown halfway around the world. I have the camera and filter wheel here because I'm installing all of that and assembling that here, because there's a little bit of magic that we put in there. Then that's going to be sent down, and it takes actually 7 days, ridiculous, to get down there. They've still got some work to do on the new dome, but things are looking positive. It's certainly going to be well within summer anyway, so that's gonna be quite cool. If you want to know more about the Canary Islands Observatory, now this has got slightly more uncertainty of when we're going to install the Canary 6 telescopes, but you can see it here. It's already in the system for you to actually take a look at. We are anticipating summer 2023, but the wildfires have kind of caused quite a lot of disruption as far as the construction companies are concerned down there. But the lovely thing with this is, once again, it's our new 0.5 meter telescope, and this is going to be identical to the telescope in Australia. And what we found is it's really cool to have exactly the same telescope set up in different observatories. So the Canary 2 telescope is identical to the Chile 2 telescope, and the new Canary 6 telescope is going to be identical to the Australia 1 telescope. But as some people pointed out in chat, I think earlier, what Australia gives us alone is 24-hour coverage. I did this lovely little chart throughout the year. I think there's one period of the year where there's a 1 hour gap, but I was kind of rounding up to an hour, so it's not even an hour. But there is, one tiny little gap. But then you throw the Canary 5 solar telescope into that mix as well. And weather permitting, we are going to find periods of the year when we have got a full 24 hours of live online telescopes. I was talking to some Indian students today, and they're starting a huge new astronomy club, a space explorers club with Slooh. By the way, any group of Slooh students can form one of these clubs. It's normally on a district or region level, but they were absolutely thrilled to hear this, because suddenly, John, they're going to get Australia. The Australian Observatory is going to give them live telescope views during their normal school hours, which is what, of course, schools in the US, North America and South America have always benefited from with the Canary Islands. But anyway, John, have you got anything else to add? We've got no other questions here.
Yes, I'm so happy for and excited for everything that is to come. These new telescopes coming online, these new features, new platform, new quests. Yeah, it truly is the next generation.
And a couple of the questions we're asking, how can you change the unit, say, on the dashboard? Well, no, this whole exercise has been a reaction to the feedback that we've received from educators, students, and our normal members. And it's been about simplifying things, not adding things. We have to choose a unit, and that's what we've chosen because we're an American company and the vast majority of our users are in America. Although having said that, we've got miles per hour there, but the person who was asking actually used miles per hour in their country. So that's interesting. But anyway, right, that is it. John, what are we doing tomorrow night? Go on, tell us, because I'm really excited about this live event tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night is the Blue Supermoon event, star party that's happening. Gosh, less than 24 hours from now. It's going to be super awesome, celebrating the of course the second full moon, but it's also the second supermoon of the month as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's actually going to be closer to us than the last one.
It is. This is the largest supermoon, the largest supermoon of the year, the closest supermoon of the year, and the fact that it's blue as well. Wow, it doesn't get any better than that. We've got an okay forecast for tomorrow night, certainly for moon observation. We've got special missions set up with the Canary 1 telescope. I always love our lunar images in that telescope. It is absolutely cracking. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm looking forward to that. We've got a couple of expert members joining us to do some segments, talk about why the moon's blue, talking about lunar culture in South America. And then of course we've got two students from Slooh's astronomy camp joining us. What are they covering? Can you remember, John? I think Kane is going to tell us all about rills.
Yes.
And John?
Grace. Yeah, Grace is going to be talking about art and culture related to the moon.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really exciting. Really looking forward to them.
Yeah, they're going to tell us a little bit about their experience of Slooh Astronomy Camp. And of course, one of our expert guests tomorrow is Keith, who ran Slooh Astronomy Camp. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of their feedback from that. But anyway, John, thank you so much tonight for showing us. And there was a lot of stuff that I had not seen in there so far, all about what we were calling internally Quest 3.0. And the custom features and all of the they are so much more interactive, and I think students are going to find them far more engaging. I would just like to give one last shout out actually to all of the educators, all of the students, all of the members who joined us on all of those feedback sessions earlier on in the year, and some of those actually even went back into last year. I think we've done pretty well on delivering what you were asking for. So I hope you're pleased with the outcome of that. Thank you very much for joining us tonight as well. Take care, everybody. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow night for the blue supermoon. That's going to be a good one. Take care, everyone. Bye now.